Hey people, Jazzy here. So I'm pretty sure a lot of you have read about the news. A gentleman at Washington D.C. threw a piece of sandwich at one of the officers. What if the same thing happened in China? What if you threw a piece of food, a slice of pizza, a sandwich, whatever, a burrito, to a police officer in China? What consequences would you be facing? Well, we'll talk about it later, but now let's go back to DC. So the gentleman who threw the sandwich, his name's Sean Dunn. So Sean Dunn, he's a former employee for the Department of Justice. Yesterday, when he saw the National Guards and police officers walking around on the street, he decided to go up to them, literally to their faces, talking smack, dropping the F-bombs, using profanities, calling them fascists. And eventually, at one point, he snapped and, he just threw his Subway footlong sandwich at one of the officers. So, what are the consequences, right? He got arrested, obviously, and now he's facing a few felony charges. Once he's convicted, well, that will definitely be up to the judge. But once he's convicted, he'll be facing 1 year prison time. Not jail time, but prison time. You might be wondering, if the same thing happened in China, is the consequences gonna be even worse or not as serious? All right. I can tell you right now that if you throw anything at anyone in China, you could be facing legal consequences. Nonetheless, you're doing it to a police officer. I know, a lot of you might still have the misconception about China, thinking that, it's a very restricted it's a very restricted country. Obviously, the consequences is going to be very serious, very severe, right? But I would say that's 90% of the countries. If you're throwing something at a police officer in China, that will be a crime. Yes, you heard me right. Not even a violation, but an actual crime. That is called interfering public service. So no, you're not supposed to throw anything at anyone at any given situation, right? So back to the US, if you're doing the same thing, let's say in California, New York, Texas, you could still be sued for assaulting. It doesn't matter what object you're throwing. Let's say I'm throwing my moon cake, right? I'm not sure if you guys recognize this because I made a skit with this moon cake, which which is based on the incident that we're talking about right now. I'll post a link under the description below. I think it's pretty funny. Hopefully, you guys think that's hilarious as well. So yeah, you're just not supposed to do it. You're never supposed to do it. So in China, if you throw, let's say, a slice of pizza or a sandwich at an officer, they'll have every right to arrest you. They can arrest you. They can detain you, and obviously you can get a lawyer, but it's not gonna help as much, especially if they have the evidence, because there's no reason for a regular civilian to do such thing. Like, what point are you trying to prove, right? Like, if you lay your hands onto the authorities, you gotta be ready for the consequences and the aftermath. So, what are the punishments? If you're convicted, I'm talking about in China, if you're convicted doing such act in China, you'll be facing 1 to 3 years of jail time. And there will be a huge fine too. Well, when I said huge, I only meant like a few $1,000s, right? So yeah, don't try it yourself. Don't do it anywhere, not just China, but don't do it back in the US. Don't do it anywhere else. I understand a lot of people's frustration because I understand that there are a lot of people not liking the fact that Donald Trump's deploying National Guards to your city, right? Because Washington, D.C. supposedly to be autonomous, supposedly is now the 51st state of the U.S. How dare you doing this to us, right? How dare you deploying National Guards to us? I mean, what's next? Are you gonna put a lot more National Guards? Are you gonna put soldiers on us? Are you gonna put guns or tanks on us? Because we've seen trucks, we've seen like military trucks over there. Well, there's not so much you can do about it, unfortunately. If the current president is trying to gain the control power of your state, your city, no one's gonna be able to be up against it. Not for now. You may be arguing that hey, he's not doing a good job, but the thing that is, he's not working with the most powerful people, not just from your own country, but from around the world. He's got all the resources, he's got all the money, all the manpower, and political resources. Let's put it that way. So he's doing whatever he pleased to right now. I mean, look at LA. Right back in a few months back in LA, the people from ICE were just wearing masks, holding weapons to get into civilians' houses. Doesn't that tell you a lot of information already? But then again, there are people backing it up. There are people liking it, right? For example, the mayor of DC, Muriel Bowser. At first, she was kind of against it, but then like 8 hours later, she was like, "Oh, things could be positive." I don't know. I don't know what was going through her mind. I'm not opposing or supporting this act. To be fair, I'm just describing the situation. Like, here's my thing. I'll gather a few informations and share it with you, and then it's up to you how you perceive it, right? Like, hey, like for example, here's a dish of fried rice. Taste it. If you like it, you like it. If not, then you go get something else to eat, right? I'm not sure if that's a great example, but this is how I feel right now. So yeah, you just got to be calm, right? When bad things like that happen, or if that's to you is a bad thing, when things like that happen, you just gotta keep a cool mind, think about how you can make a change positively. But with Mr. Sean Dunn, obviously he wasn't thinking about the consequences. He just let his anger to get a better out of himself, and this happened. Once again, whether he goes to prison is completely up to the judge. You know, I'm not sure if they want to make a statement. If they're trying to make a statement, they'll probably put him in prison for more than 1 year or longer than 1 year. So that way people could just like be settled or behave. Yeah, I don't see that guy getting out of it. And here's the thing. If he's convicted and if the judge sentenced him to 2 or 3 years of prison time, then there might be a protest. And it's going to be a pretty big one. So we'll see how it goes. But guys, whatever you do, try to obey to the laws, right? I mean, obviously you have every right to protest, but please do so peacefully. All right, thank you very much. Please subscribe to my channel. It helps.